Greetings and salutations, Gala Gamers. This is Jason Bitbender Brink and Michael McCarthy here to do an AMA on Mirandus. So I'm going to go ahead and just check in our Discord, make sure everyone can hear us okay. And let's see here. If somebody could tell me what you guys think. I'm in the gold chat. Can everyone hear me okay? Just want to make sure Anders is typing. Anders, okay, awesome. McCarthy, can you say something too?
Yes. Hi. Can everyone hear me? Good. Yes.
Looks like we're good. Rock on. See, no more like 10 minutes of fiddling around to make the audio work. So we're good today. And turn up, Michael. Everyone always wants you turned up. I think maybe just let me turn you up.
Turn me up.
I'll turn you up. You're turned up.
You turn off my space heater.
Okay, there we go. Okay, guys. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be doing a run through of a deck that McCarthy has created that is going to tell you a lot about stuff that is coming from Mirandus. And I think you're going to be super excited to hear that. After that run through is done, we won't take questions during that, but afterwards we will take questions through the restream chat. So basically Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, anywhere you want, you'll be able to ask questions and it will show up here, except it won't be behind me. And then, yeah, let's go from there. So if you want to take it away, McCarthy, we can do that.
All right. Hi, guys. Man, we've been working on lots and lots of stuff in Mirandus. We've got some cool stuff to show and some cool updates to get to you. And as usual, guys, I feel like we're kind of on this journey together, and I like to kind of show you how the sausage is made, so let's just dig in. And I think at some point, Mr. Brink, we need to show your awesome green wall.
Oh, you want to see my green wall? Let's get the green wall out of the way really quick. And I just realized I have to activate screen sharing
I've
for
got
you.
like doors and stuff in my garage. So behind you is...
Behind me is the thing that I spent all flippin' day the other day doing, which is this.
That's
chroma key green. It's
that's
insane. And with the red shirt, this is now Christmas, and I'm kind of Santa-y looking. So
I think you're great in that collared shirt, Mr. Brink.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
Miranda stuff.
Go ahead and share your screen, sir.
Sharing.
Hold on. Let me make this. Whoa. Have to be smaller. There we go. And okay, there we go. Now we're good. Hit it.
Can everyone see this? Good. Yes.
Yeah, you're showing up fine.
Cool.
Coming through beautifully on the stream.
So here's some stuff that we've been working on, guys, and some of everything's just kind of in progress. A lot of it's just some design thinking and some directions we want to take the game, but hopefully this will be cool for you guys. And as always, I love doing these, and I want to do them more and more and more. And I think I will have more time to be focused on that in the near future. And I'll have more time to be engaging with you guys as well. And that's important to me too. So here's a few things that we've been working on, guys. One of them is we've kind of committed to having 5 races to start here. And we're calling these our alpha characters. We'll have a human, an orc, a dwarf, an elf, and a halfling. And these are just fun races. I mean, and obviously they'll have some strengths and weaknesses associated with them. But we really like the idea that, all of these, of course, are going to be, game items and tokens on chain. And some of them are going to be more rare than others. We think that's a really fun idea, too, that maybe humans are, of course, incredibly common, but the other races will be more scarce, and we think that's kind of fun. But we like these guys, and they really create some fun opportunities in the game. And again, Mirandus, we really want Mirandus to be kind of a classic RPG adventure. So we're liking the way this is going. when you get your avatar, we want you to always be able to customize certain stuff. Your skin color, your eye color, and kind of the form of your body. You guys should be able to change at will, to create variations or to create something that you identify with. But then we also like the idea that there's kind of unique and scarce enhancements that you guys could get, game items that would allow you to look fundamentally different than everybody else beyond just skin color and eye color and stuff. I mean, how fun would it be if, there was only 20 or 30, super cool long wizard beards in the world or something. And, you know, um, so when you see someone who looked incredibly unique, I think that should be really neat when you're in town and walking around. So we like that idea as well. And those would all be stuff that you guys could get and put on your character, and um, know that they're kind of scarce out there in the world, and make even more special. So we think that's kind of a fun idea. One of the things that we've really had to dig into, guys, and making an avatar is very difficult and time consuming, but is kind of to me the foundation of the game. It's who you are when you project yourself into this world of Mirandus, and we want that to feel really physical. So we're really hoping that almost everything in your inventory can be seen on you, just as it would if you were walking around a medieval world. You know, um, your hair, your beards, your pants, your boots, you know, every type of glove. You'll want to get a great belt. You'll want to upgrade your belt. And if you get 3 pouches that attach to your belt, you'll be seeing those pouches on there, your items, the weapons you're carrying, even the jewelry. This guy's got, he's got the 10 rings on his fingers. If you put 3 rings on your fingers, I think you should be able to see 3 rings standing, when you're standing there and you're hanging out in the tavern. I think it's just very cool and feels very physical. A lot of games you'll get some of that, but usually it'll be like you'll choose an armor type and that might, fill most of your body up. But we kind of like the idea that everything that you've defined about your character could be visual. And again, just kind of thinking through what it would be like to be in that medieval tavern and have somebody walk in and be able to observe something about them simply by what they're wearing or the gear they're carrying. And so I think that's kind of fun. And it's a lot of technical work. And, Craig and the guys have been doing a great job of defining how this can work in game and naming conventions. And it's a good bit of doing, but we're getting really close. And that's kind of cool and exciting. We've also we want to try to put a stake in the ground here on what we're calling the condition or the health of the character. And these are the 3 things that'll kind of be persistent in your HUD. And one is your hit points. And that's just classic. I think everyone understands that. You don't want it to go to 0. The next is vitality. And I think this one's pretty interesting, but this is how we feed into the taverns and the inns. And you want to keep the vitality of your character high. If you're eating really great things and you're sleeping, your vitality will be high. And with your vitality high, your hit points will recover faster, your energy will recover faster. And energy, we're going to work really hard to try to make energy a universal principle in the game. And I think all games kind of do this. They just skin it a little different, but energy is really you exerting force into the world. If I'm a blacksmith and I'm working on something, I'm spending energy. If I'm, swinging a sword around, I'm spending energy. If I'm making a pie, I'm spending energy, right? So casting a spell, this could be mana. So if we tune it right, it'd be really cool and interesting if and also simple for people who aren't used to playing very complex RPGs to come in the game and understand that constant. So there's your health, there's how fast your health and energy are recovering, which is your vitality, and your energy, which is how you exert force into the world to accomplish actions. Energy is a nice thing too. It's like if you're lower level, you could have, a tiny bit of energy and you could swing around basic stuff. But, if you want to do a super cool triple backflip axe attack, that you might need to be very high level for that. And a move like that might require a lot of energy. So if we can keep these three things kind of universally there, living in the HUD, and I think that'll be really, really great. The next thing that we're digging into, guys, and I think this is a really big one. We really need to understand what it means to have an avatar on the chain, and we want to make the commitment to you guys that these are your avatars, just like everything in our decentralized network. When you have something on our network, it is yours, and you should be able to do what you please with it. And so we're kind of thinking that the avatars need to act a bit like a wallet, and they're not a wallet in and of themselves. And the engineers have scolded me for even saying wallet, but it's really a container, and it's a container, and burned into this NFT, your particular avatar, are things like race and level and hit points and stats, and abilities. But there's so much other stuff that's going to happen in the game, right? Like swords need to be on chain. A meal could be on chain. Armor could be on chain. And those all need to be a part of your character too, such that you could take that character in a package and say, here is my avatar, and give it to your friend if you wanted to. That's kind of your business. But so there's kind of this concept of things that are burned into the character that'll likely be held DB side, like your race, level, and hit points. But everything that you have attached to them will be on chain, and those will be your visual enhancements, like your scars and things that we talked about earlier. And again, crafts, materials, weapons. I think the maps, as you move through the world, if you've got a cartography skill, or you've purchased maps from other players or traded with players to get cool maps, and those would be attached to your character as well. And they're attached to your character, and they're on chain, but they need to be able to be subtracted from your character as well, such that it's a sword, it's on chain, it's attached to your character. But let's say you want to give it to somebody else, well, that token needs to be transferred to somebody else, right? So there's this part of your character that is, we're calling engraved, and then there's this part of your character that is things that are attached to them, and that'll all live on chain. And there's kind of a big part of the game that we're really excited about. These will be things that will be attached to your character called skills. So you'll have your core stats and abilities, but skills are really blueprints. They're really all the way from how do you make a pie, like a recipe, to how do you craft a chair, and even skills like a lost kung fu scroll that allows you to perform a special move. And we want these to be kind of pages inside what we're calling the Chronicus. And we love this idea of the Chronicus. I hope you guys do too. But it's basically a central place that chronicles your journey into the world of Mirandus. This is your central place to go to for everything that you've done, experienced, discovered in the world, your kills, your friends, your trades, your maps. And this would be where you would keep those skills, and these skills could be removed. You could pull these out and hand them to somebody else. If it's a very advanced skill, there's still going to be prerequisites, right? If you're crafting something, there'd be materials, and you would need some core stats and abilities to accomplish stuff. But the recipe or blueprint for this particular skill, you will be able to own. It will be yours. They will be scarce. You can imagine that, we'll have a lot of these in the store that you can get, but also there'll be rare drops out there in the world. For instance, let's say somebody kills the Minotaur King. I like the idea that there is not two Minotaur Kings. There was a Minotaur King, and if somebody can take him out, he might drop the, rare ultra spin Minotaur mega backflip attack. And there might only be one of those in the world, and obviously it would take an unbelievable amount of energy and skill to enact it out there in the world. But it's cool to think that there's just one of them. It's cool to think that there are incredibly special and powerful things that could be crafted, or moves you can employ in the world that would be unique. So we think that's really fun. we want those to be on chain. So again, they would be kind of attached to your character, unless you wanted them removed, and then you could give them to people, which I think it's kind of fun, and we really like that idea, guys. And we think the Chronicus is really cool, and it's going to be a neat central place that you'll always have, to kind of document your journey in the game. We've also been doing a lot with tech and performance. And this is a really big deal, guys. We want the FPS to be high, and we want you guys to feel like you're really living in this world, and there's a lot to think about when you're trying to determine how many units can be on screen at the same time. And the challenge there is, what if everyone's doing something at the same time? If you're standing there, that's not too difficult from, on the server or client. But let's say there's, 200 people and there's a 200 skeleton army. Well, now we've got 400 things running around, and what are they doing? Well, they're casting rays, essentially, right? They're swinging something, they're shooting something, they're casting a spell. That spell, when it lands, might be area of effect, and you need to calculate how many people are inside that area, what distance from the point at which the fireball hit, to its very edges need to be calculated. Do you do less damage when it falls off? If all of that is being done with physics and casting rays, it's incredibly expensive. And if the game is trying to process all of that, all of those rays, and being validated server side, so we don't have any cheaters, it's just incredibly heavy. So, and the simplest way to think about this is, like, if I'm hunting something in a forest and I shoot an arrow, do I hit the leg of the elk and it starts to limp? Well, that means, you aimed with your bow and arrow, you shot an arrow, it hit the leg. We determined that leg was a thing. It's not just the body. There's a hit box for every single maybe joint or part of that elk. If you shot between its legs, you missed it. If you're doing that, it's just a tremendous amount of work. And it's not that it can't be done, but if we really want a citadel to be awesome, and we want there to be hundreds and hundreds of people that can be hanging out on screen at any given time, then it starts to look a little bit more like some of how we'll be attacking and initiating actions in the world will need to be more number rolling. More like you identify a target, you commit to performing an action, and the server will return you a result. So that's kind of the balance there, right? If there's fewer players and it's a smaller experience, we can have it be a little bit more simulation and physics oriented for, combat especially. And if we want massive numbers of people on screen, then it needs to be a little bit more of number rolling on server side. So that's why getting ahead of this stuff is really important, guys, because it affects the systems in the game and how much of it is Twitch oriented versus how much of it is leveling up your character. So we're still kind of we're still getting that balance together and learning some lessons, but it's really great and important stuff to explore now and early. But one of the things we definitely are committing to is that there will be hundreds and hundreds of you guys on screen at once for big in-game events. Again, if you're walking around a citadel or, around the Prince or Archduke area, we just think it's just not going to be cool if there can't be hundreds of you guys all in the same place. So that's what we're working from for sure. And then we'll just kind of back into how much of the game can be physics oriented versus how much needs to be rolled server side. And we've got a video. Jason, you can roll that video, brother.
I can roll the video. I get to do something now. It's my turn. Awesome. So while I roll this, explain what they're seeing.
Oh yeah, we got a couple hundred characters on screen, and this is some of the performance stuff we do, guys, right? It's like, how many objects can we realistically have in the scene? What are some of the performance implications for... Did I just say implementations?
Implications, I think.
Yeah. um, what does it mean and what can we expect and what is realistic? So I think in this scene we've got 200 or more characters. You can roll that video.
I'll roll it again.
Just kind
They're
of
they're
cool.
they're seeing it. You're not seeing it.
Yeah, I can't see it, but it's kind of cool to see, guys, right? And they all have a skeleton. They're all animating. Um, it means you have to instantiate a lot of things in scene. A lot of stuff is being calculated, and what gives me confidence is um, I have a great laptop here, but even on my laptop, I'm getting 30 to 60 frames a second with more than 200 people on screen, and there's no optimizations being made, and that's always an ongoing effort in game development. You kind of set out the scene. It works kind of well on high-end systems, and brilliant engineers and artists go to work to hyper optimize the scene. So if we're getting 200 people plus at 30 to 60 frames a second, that's really promising, and I think we're going to stand a very good chance of getting closer to 400 units on the screen. And a unit, guys, isn't just a character. It might also consist of trees in the environment, animals, enemies. But I think Mirandus just isn't going to feel alive unless we can hit that like 500 mark or more of just living things in the environment. So it's pretty cool, guys. I hope that video, it's kind of neat to see, we think. And we were happy about the performance that we're getting. So that was.
I'll run it one more time just so everyone can see the beautiful shininess. And just to be clear, there will definitely be female avatars. This is just a bunch of stuff thrown in there all at once, copies.
All for testing purposes. There's some dynamic textures in there too to make sure that not everyone's sharing exactly the same material. How many joints are running and articulating in the scene. It's just some, these are just kind of tests that we run, guys, but it's looking pretty positive, and I'm getting more and more confident that we can have a really cool, big living city, or, a massive dungeon, which would be awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, they want some social distancing. There's like 3 people have mentioned it in Discord. There is no social distancing there. It's very unsafe of you to advocate standing that closely, Michael. Just saying.
Mirandus will be COVID free. Can't we just have a safe place?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. Onward. Let's see here. Let me know when you've reached the end of your presentation, and I will start taking questions from the people.
No, there's more, guys. There's more. Jason plays video. That's that slot.
Done.
Jason played video. I think the most important thing to us on the development side, guys, and this is why you're seeing such a big push towards avatars. You really need to define who you are, and we need to get you into the world. We want Mirandus to be playable as absolutely soon as possible. A lot of MMOs, it's like you won't see it for 5, 6, 7 years. Like, we're not going to be that. We want to get you guys chunks of the world and get you guys in there as soon as possible. So, again, our goal in 2021 is to get avatars in everyone's hands. And I think you'll start to see those in the store as soon as next week. Then we need to get to deployable software. You guys can hit play. We've got some stuff, living on the server. We've got a build we can update, and we're working towards getting a meeting hall together. And it could be a town square, could be a meeting hall, but some place that you guys can go to, you can log in, you can walk around, you can start like socializing with each other. And I love the concept of the meeting hall or the town square, because it gives you guys a chance to jump in game, show off your cool avatar.
Becomes in-game Discord.
Huh?
It becomes in-game Discord.
Yeah, exactly. That's right.
We will have AMAs there, just so everybody knows, for sure.
That would be the absolute coolest thing, right? Like, what if the next time we were showing off cool stuff, we could all just be meeting in the world of Mirandus? So we want to stand that up. And it's good for us technically too, guys, right? Without having a mega huge world built and everything that goes along with that, we can get everyone kind of logged in and into a location and start kind of pounding on some of the server side tech, which would be awesome. But if we, if we all can be there and there's kind of a meeting hall or a town hall, then we also can use that as a platform to test pieces of the game, right? Like, hey, walk through this corridor and down the hall might be, where you can craft or bake something. Is that fun and cool? Or, where you can start to play with, going hunting or some of the combat mechanics. So we can kind of extend it to different halls and rooms and let you guys play different pieces of the game and give us feedback about if it's cool or not. And we really count on you guys for that. We're building this together.
Yeah, and to be very clear, this is not the typical way that development happens. Typically, you have something that's created in its entirety under, wraps, under a blanket. Nobody can see it. Nobody can see what's going on, and then it gets pushed out, and everyone responds to it. Then we actively are looking for participation and feedback and ideas from the community because we think that's how the absolute best experience for the player can be created, and that's what we're all about.
There's kind of this other thing that we've been thinking about too, guys. I want to hit you with, and we're incredibly excited about this. So, we want to get you guys into the meeting hall so that you can, walk around in the world of Mirandus, even if it's just a smaller chunk initially. But really, what is a game at its roots? And at its roots, it's like there's kind of an avatar, and there's an avatar requirement, and then there's a physical requirement, right? Maybe it's a weapon or a tool or a skill, one of your pages in the Chronicus, a building, maybe a deed. And then you exert an action, you exert energy into the world. Time is elapsing, and then you get a result. And that's kind of a game in a nutshell in many ways, right? So, what if we were able to just build the systems of Mirandus, and before the massive 3D world is built, what if we could launch the game as kind of a casual RPG that you could play on your phone or in a browser anywhere? And what I mean by that is, imagine that there's a top-down map of the world of Mirandus. You could place your deed. We can get all of your NFTs, guys, and things that you've purchased up and running and living in that world. You could place a deed. Deed owners could kind of try to attract the right buildings and build up their little towns and cities. You could utilize those buildings to start crafting things in the world. You could harvest, you could adventure. And all of it, just takes time and energy that your avatar could exert into the world, and core materials and everything that Mirandus would be. And we think that's kind of really fun and super cool. And it allows us to test the tuning of the game and collect feedback about the progression and the experience of it quite early. And we can start applying that, if it's working really well, to the larger 3D world. And we think that's kind of fun and really cool. You'll have your kind of Chronicus on the go and the ability to exert energy into the world of Mirandus. And we think that's a really cool, fun idea, and let you guys, it'll get you guys to be able to use everything that, all your buildings and deeds quite early. And I'm excited about that. It also led us to this thought that, my gosh, like, if we launched that and everyone can just be kind of playing a light simulation of what Mirandus will be before the full 3D world is built, why couldn't we keep that concept later? You can't always be in front of your PC, right? You can't always have your VR goggles on everywhere you go. What if you're on a trip, what if you're at work? What if we let you continue to engage in the world of Mirandus, even if you're not in front of your PC? And what I mean is, at its simplest form, what if you could kick off a craft? So you're out on the go, you own a forge, and you want to start trying to craft an incredible magic sword. And you've got all the core materials, and you could use this casual game or this framework to launch that craft. So you would hit go, and that would just be kind of on your phone, if you will. But inside the game, we could see your avatar there going to work and banging on that anvil. And so this pre-game that we could release that kind of lets us tune the progression of the game and lets you guys use your NFTs early, could ultimately become kind of a remote control for your avatar when you're away and you're not at your PC. Um, you could play a mini game at a tavern. You might be able to even talk to people in the world. So it's a really cool way to kind of stay connected to the world of Mirandus when you're away from your PC. And again, any action you would perform here, you could see your avatar doing it if you were playing on a PC in the Mirandus world. So we wanted to kind of dig into that concept as well. All of it, guys, is just centered around letting you guys use the NFTs that you've purchased and getting you into the game as absolutely soon as possible. Um, and I got a cool screenshot this morning. This is kind of a town hall kind of thing. I want you guys to know everything you've seen today is all in game. It's all in engine. We just kind of posed some characters and threw some geo in there, but it's kind of cool to see. Fun to play with, certainly.
That looks absolutely incredible.
I think we need to work on the lighting a little bit more, but you know, there's a long way to go on this, guys, but it's really cool. It's off to a good start. Amazing stuff is being built. We've got awesome people on the team. We're growing the team, and we're going to get it into your hands and let you use the stuff that you guys have purchased as early as we can. So it's cool. It's cool.
I love these things because this is when, for all of you guys out here, this is when I get to learn about a lot of what's going on too. Because I see things from inside, obviously, so I have seen some of this, but a lot of it I don't actually get to see until I see it on an AMA, and I'm super impressed by this. Yeah. I need a baby dragon. Can we talk a little bit about that? Can we talk about baby dragons?
Yeah.
Tell me about baby dragons, Michael. I want to know about baby dragons because I did not get a baby dragon drop from the node, and I'm sad. I've seen people that did, and
Well, I
none
think
of them were me.
again, guys, man, we want this to be kind of a classic fantasy adventure, and I love the idea of familiars. So it's just cool. I mean, and I think everyone that owns a pet in the world and has had a pet for a long time, you kind of develop a language together. So I really like the idea that we could have familiars in the world, and they would be very rare, but they would be able to not just be cosmetic, but actually be able to perform some actions for you out there in the world. That's a big system to build, but I think it's really cool and it just makes sense. And I always loved it in other games that I've played where you could command your familiar to go do something for you, retrieve that thing that has fallen on the floor, or, walk through this small crevice in a dungeon and tell me what's on the other side. Or so
Do,
I think we love the idea of there being, especially for you, you guys are here now, I mean, in 2 years, imagine how many people are going to know about Mirandus. So what we love is we love the idea that you guys that are here now and who love and support us, there might be an incredibly, unbelievably rare dragon familiar that you could get. And I love the idea that there's an unbelievably few number of these in the world. There'll be a lot of, owls and rats and cats coming, but what if we said that these dragons are incredibly, incredibly rare and special? And, if you are playing the game of Mirandus when there's a million people in this world, who knows how many people are going to be in Mirandus again in years. If they see someone that has that green dragon, they'll know that person was here early. That person has known and been supporting Mirandus forever. And it'll be really special and really rare. So that's what that little green dragon's all about, guys. It's kind of another way to kind of honor, I think, what you guys have done and your love and support and commitment to Mirandus. So I think it'd be super cool. I want one really bad.
yeah, no, I'm sitting here. Normally, I don't I'm normally too busy to get in on any of the drops, but the Mirandus skin packs for Townstar with the dragon pieces are dropping in just over 20 minutes, and I'm going to go and buy one if I can. Um, I might, in fact, just ignore everyone on the stream while I go and do that. Do you have any more slides left? Is that the last slide?
That's the last slide.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Oh wait, you can end your presentation now. Quit screen sharing. We need to see your beautiful face, Michael.
Okay.
There we go. That's better. Now everyone can see us. I'm seeing people that are a little bit upset that both you and I have hair. It's been mentioned by more than a few people in various chats. Okay, and I'm gonna go there. There we go. There's the hat. Gotta get the hat on. Okay, I'm going to give me just one moment to get this stood up. Okay, we got the restream chat up and running.
And we don't have any hair. You and I are pretty bald.
No, it's here, man. You just can't see it because it's so clear. I'm just happy that my beard isn't coming in this color, because my beard used to come in the same color as my hair and it was effing invisible.
Jason, can I share one more thing, actually?
Yeah, sure. Of course, man. You can screen share again?
Yeah, let me just share it. I mean, I just think this is really cool. And Lucas and I were pounding on this, guys. We were pounding on this, even right before the presentation began. It's just kind of fun to see. Let me get the screen share up 1 second. Okay, there we go. It's cool. We're in Unity right now, and I think it's working pretty well for us, guys. We think we can kind of rip out the parts of the engine we need to, and I think it's going to be a decent client for us, and it's just kind of fun to see. Like, there was that image that you guys saw, but everything we do is in game, guys, and we really commit ourselves to that. And
yeah, can you walk around the scene? Can you move? Oh, there we go.
You can move the lights, and there's some little fill lights in here that are kind of cool. But if I turn those off, I like kind of turning those off and playing with the sun a little bit, and getting nighttime, and
dude, that looks awesome.
Making it brighter. And
I love it. No, wait, stop. That, I want you to, that scene, I need you to output that scene, exactly that scene, and send it to me. 2560 by 1440, so I can get that up on Brave.
It's really cool. I mean, and it's a lot of fun to play. I kind of like the lighting coming from this way a little better.
It's gorgeous. Yes, send me that.
Do you just want like an executable?
If you can send me an executable, holy crap, yes.
And I think, didn't we give the tree executable to people?
We did. Let's take a little poll here. And hold on, you turned off the screen share before I was. There we go. Does anyone want an executable? Would anyone like to look at that, like the tree scene?
That's a hard thing to walk around, man. That'd be a lot of work.
Yeah, well, with the tree scene, you could WASD and.
What I think is cool is that as we develop this stuff and as we're working on things in the scene, if people really dug that little executable for the trees, I think
they did. People went absolutely ape over that. But I'm looking at the Gala Gold chat, and it looks like there's no interest at all. So maybe we don't need to give them the executable.
I think it's just fun. This obviously is not. I think there's something really exciting, guys, for me as a developer, and I know our team feels the same way. Just don't hold everything back. Just get you guys little fun things to click on, and hey, here's what it's like to make a game, and I'm always very conscious of that. Every time I talk to people that don't have the opportunity to make a video game, it's like, it's just so exciting to learn. I feel that way when I talk to the electrician when he comes to the house. I'm like, oh my god, that's incredible. And I think everything is so neat and interesting, and I really want the tone of this development to be one of sharing. And again, not just sharing like some hero pieces, but really kind of sharing the the bones and the skeleton that we have to build, some of the technical constraints, and just the journey that we're going through. I just love the idea that we all can kind of just go through it together. Anyway, I hope you guys do too. And if there's a little executable or something cool we can get you, then we'll absolutely make it a point to do that.
We will definitely do that. Okay, so let me go ahead and resize us a little. I'm going to go ahead and turn on the restream chat. Okay. Actually, hold on just one second. I'm going to change our orientation just a smidge.
Again, guys, I think the alpha avatars are going to be in the store next week, and we're still kind of tuning exactly how this will be, but having an alpha avatar will be special forever. And we can't, when we start doing the great hauls and things like that and having these special announcements, you'll want that avatar to be in there. You'll need that presence and that concept of you for us to be testing our tech. And there'll need to be a limited number of them. We can't have 1 million of them out there because, we're still building this thing. So there'll be a limited number of those alpha avatars. And I think you'll be seeing them next week. So that'll be really cool and fun. And I wonder how many little green dragon familiars there might be out in the world.
Okay, so we're going to move into question mode here because we've got 15 minutes left before we have to end the stream because we have other things that we have to go do, obviously, unfortunately.
Make game.
Make game. Exactly. Make game. Have meeting. So I want to go ahead and deal with some of the questions here. And I've got a question who has come from, who was it that asked? Anyway, the basic question is, talk to us about the differences between taverns and inns. This is a question that a lot of people have asked, and there were people who bought taverns and they're like, oh, what? Now there's inns? People can't sleep in my tavern, which to me seems like an odd thing because I don't want to sleep in a tavern unless the night has gone terribly bad. But yeah, can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, an inn is primarily where you would sleep, and a tavern is primarily where you would eat and gather. And there will be food at the inn as well. But a tavern will have food, and a tavern will also have tables and gaming. And we love the idea that you can sit down at a table in a tavern and play lots of just little mini games, card games, dice games together and hang out. So I'd say a tavern is primarily eat, an inn is primarily sleep, and it is the combination of those two that keep your vitality extremely high. And if your vitality is high, then your energy recovers quickly. And I think that's really a big key component of the game. It is going to be important to have your avatar sleep and eat. So that's the distinction between the two.
Awesome. Thank you. Does that answer everyone's questions? Yeah, definitely Banjo. Gwent. I'm personally working on something that is Gwent inspired, that hopefully will be playable in the taverns. That's the plan. So Jehoshaphat has a great question. Can players craft in another player's building?
I think yes.
Is there a permissions sort of structure?
Yeah. I mean, again, it's like what could we kind of do in the real world, right? So I think I like the idea that building owners can assign read and write permissions, if you will, to other players. You can come in, you can use their equipment, or hey, if I give you 3,000 coin, will you allow me to use your anvil and forge? The owner might be like, sure, and he'll give you those read permissions. And then I think they should need to be extended to write permissions, I would call it, which is that's really just having a partner there in your building. You know, they can rearrange things and
Mm,
decorate and upgrade things, kind of admin privileges to your building. So that's how we view that.
nice. Brian Amazing is a question coming in from YouTube. Where are these questions being asked? I'm pulling questions from all of the different chat streams. So some are being pulled from YouTube, some are being pulled from Twitch. It's simulcast everywhere, but I'm also pulling questions from the Gala Gold Discord, which you can find at galagames.chat if you're a Gala Gold member. If you're not, then you can hang out in the Discord, and people will walk you through, getting set up with Gala Gold. Will all items in the game be blockchain? Says Hortasha from Twitch.
I would say here's the distinction that I think we're going to need to carve. When you craft something, it is going to become on chain. So there'll be some core material gathering that you can just do in the world, kind of the foundational level of all crafts, right? Basic crops and wood and ore, things of that nature. Those will not be on chain. It's when you take that crafting step that will put it on chain, and all of this will be on the Gala chain, guys. And we will, also have a path for you to take it off the Gala chain and get it out onto any other chain that we support. And again, that's just part of our mission here, guys. We're just trying to make sure that if you work hard in a game and you get something, it's yours. It's kind of simple. It's simple in theory, and is a big technical challenge and an architectural challenge in practice. But that's what we're committing ourselves to, guys. And that's the distinction we would make in Mirandus. You can gather core stuff, but when you start crafting, now it's an item on chain.
I'm going to answer a question for Maldios. Will we have to pay the gas fees to mint items? That depends on which chain you decide to mint them on. Where, as you guys know, we're working on integrating with a variety of base layer and L2 solutions, some of which have gas fees, some of which don't. So it really depends on where you want to put your specific item. If you want to mint it to Ethereum, be prepared to sell everything that you own so that you can mint it. Possibly internal organs, liver, kidney. You've got 2 kidneys for a reason. But if you want to mint to one of the other chains, then it's going to be much more reasonable. Okay, so Mizuka, I got 2 questions that keep getting asked again and again that I think are important. One of them is Mizuka wants to have giant war turtles. Is that going to be a thing? Do you see a place for a giant war turtle in the world? I mean, I love the idea. Kind of like a Oliphant from Lord of the Rings with crossbows and whatnot on it. But I understand that may be a bridge too far. Maybe just a little turtle? With
Turtle familiars, 100%.
Turtle familiars. Okay, turtle familiars confirmed.
You walk away. You walk away, and he's just gone. You can never find him again. Like,
aww,
he couldn't keep up, the little guy. You're gonna have to put him on your shoulder. Maybe upgrade like a little platform on your shoulder, a little turtle cage.
yeah, there you go. I like it.
But no, I mean, in all seriousness, I want. It's going to get this way at some point, I think, but I really want to hold off on mega crazy funny mounts. We have stables in the game. Horses are going to make a lot of sense. That's going to be generally how you get around at speed in the world of Mirandus. I think there might be other mounts that are possible in the world, but you guys have played other games. You've seen what it looks like when the floodgates just open and you can ride anything in the world. And it's like there's a horse.
It's really weird.
There's a horse sitting next to a glowing ethereal hippopotamus, and there's it just starts to look like a bizarre menagerie in town.
Right.
And it's so I think there will be crazier amounts, but I really want to commit to something more, physical and medieval for a good long time.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I will personally
That's
support
stable
that.
horses.
Now, Captain Jack. Now, this is. Oh, the other question that I really wanted to answer. Now, you and I have some differences of opinions on this specific question. So I'm gonna just throw it out here, and then we can discuss it. Is it possible to place tents in the wild, or do they have to be placed inside of a deed? Now, I want tents to be placed in the wild because that's me. But it's you are the game master. You are the DM. You are the one who controls the levers. What say you, sir?
I mean, I say what you're talking about is essentially. I mean, I want the world to consist of deeds and buildings. You know, I want the homestead to be your way to establish a foothold somewhere and have that safe place that you can return to at night. You know, if and here's why, guys. Here's why. Here's why Jason and I argue about this. All right, this is the best.
Gotta take a drink. I'm gonna get a drink too, so I'm ready.
Now, while I'm getting two drinks, I'll be even more refreshed for this conversation.
Let's do this, McCarthy.
Three.
We got. Oh,
It's not. Oh, you bastard. It's not. It's not. You know, I live in Oregon, guys. It's beautiful out here, you know, and I can chuck a tent out here in my lawn and camp if I wanted to. Camping means you're just sleeping in a on a on a bag or a burlap sack somewhere out in the forest, and then you're gonna sleep there and log off. And like I think in the world of Mirandus, you'd be eaten. The forests are going to be dangerous. There's going to be creatures out there, especially at night. You know, they might hide a lot during the day, but you know, when night falls, you know, the freaks come out at night. They're going to get you. So to me, it's like a homestead is really how you can establish a remote base or an outpost. You know, those are good deeds to establish kind of way out there. Um, but just the concept that it's like, what a beautiful night, what a wonderful starry sky out there. Why don't I pitch a tent and I'm going to go to sleep? And you know, I think the world is just a little too dangerous for that when you start getting outside of the towns, and it's a little hard to buy that. It's a little hard to buy that particular fiction for me. So you know, it kind of undermines the deed and building mechanic. I feel like a little bit, and then it's a little strange to, again, you know, there's goblins and evil stuff out there that wants to eat you. So just pitching a tent in the middle of the forest, the dark forest of Mirandus, means you should die. You should get eaten. Your throat should get torn out in the middle of the night as you sleep. So that's why we have this. That's why we have this conversation, guys. Like
we do.
and I want people to adventure and return with their loot, make it back to their safe base. I want you to be thinking about, you know, again, if you were going to go into a dungeon, or you were going to, you know, anything that the settlers have done for thousands of years all over the world, right? You're venturing out with your gear, your equipment, things that you need to be successful.
Ed777 asks, why do tents exist?
To place on the smaller plots near homesteads and near you know, on those smaller deeds.
So do you imagine a situation in which, let's say you own a homestead, or you own an outpost or something like that? Could you set your outpost up somewhere remotely and then have, you know, a camp that people can rent spots in to sleep?
That's the whole point of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I could put my homestead up, and I could stick a couple tents on it, and say, you know, look, if you need to, you know, rest and recuperate here.
Nights, or you know,
Exactly. Okay.
that's the whole point of those smaller plots. You know, you can kind of choose what you want to do with it as a deed owner. And I think that would be, where you could rest safely and comfortably. But that's
Now
the
let's say you can't rest. Now we have somebody who's joining the game. They don't have any uh, they don't have any in-game currency yet. They just started playing. They're grinding some resources or something like that. Um, how do they rest, or can they, if they're idle for long enough, do they like get a kind of the short rest versus long rest in D&D sort of situation, or like sleeping in a building or a tent gives you a long rest, whereas just logging out for a while is the equivalent of a short rest, or you gradually
Yeah, I mean,
recover.
here's what we're targeting, guys. Like what we're targeting is making a world where great rest and great food, you know, fuel the amazing characters and people of the world. So, you're I think we need to have a world where, your hit points and vitality would recover, you know, um your hit points and energy would recover. You'll just recover so slow that it'll kind of suck. You need to eat. You got to eat something, and it's really good to sleep somewhere. So it will recover, but it would be a snail's pace. If you're coming into the world of Mirandus and you don't have 2 copper between your fingers, you're not going to get a sword. You're not going to go adventuring. You're not going to own a building and craft amazing things. You're gonna be a really unbelievably poor peon. And we're just doing that because that's, again, our North Star is trying to simulate this fantasy medieval world, this kind of Ready Player One. You guys come in and you are there and you are living. So if you have absolutely nothing in this world, I don't think you'd be a very successful adventurer of any kind, right? You're not going to be crafting cool things. You're not going to sleep or eat well, like a vagrant or a beggar. Dirty clothes.
That does fit the medieval world, sort of thing. And who is it? Captain Jack was saying that I'm getting my own questions answered. Absolutely guilty on that part. It's not often that I can nail McCarthy down and say, "Hey, answer questions for me now."
Here's a fun
So
one. I mean, here's a fun one, right? You'll only be able to carry so much, right? Like, we're going to try to make that pretty physical. So, how would you get money if you didn't have anything in the game at all? Well, there's a big, strong, burly guy, who's going out there in the forest. He's got an axe. He's going to chop some wood, and he might throw a few copper at a few of these peons to just follow him around and carry the wood back for him, that he chops down. You know, kind of be the squire, if you will, to any of these great people that just want to lighten the load a little bit or need an errand run or something like that. I think that's kind of fun to think about. That's kind
let's
of fun.
take a couple more questions, and keep in mind, guys, that the answers to some of these may change over time. This is just the way that it's conceptualized at this point in time. Brian Amazing from YouTube says, "Is 24 hours in the game 24 hours in real life?"
No, we can't do that.
Okay.
It's cool to do that, but like, it's nice to think about, like, your mind can kind of grasp that. But we are a global game, and let's say you can only play during a certain period of time, and you're kind of perpetually stuck in the world of midnight if you're on the other side of the world, depending on when we start that game clock. So it's always a good idea to have more of a compressed day and night cycle. And I think what we would be looking at is that, given an average play session, could someone experience a full day? I kind of like the idea that day and night might be 3 to 6 hours, something like that. Maybe 6 hours long,
Okay.
something like
And I think
that. I hope that makes sense to everybody. It's like you don't want to be locked perpetually in whatever time of day it is that you actually can log in and play. So, and it's so much fun when you're in a cool, rich, living 3D world, to see the sunrise, see the sunset. Um, have nightfall and all of the mechanics that ensue from a daytime and nighttime perspective. We really want a lot of things to be nocturnal.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking in the store. I really want to make sure that I get.
They're gonna sell it up
I want
probably if
they
they're always
probably are. I'm like, it's
not.
not in there yet, so I'm wondering if I'm in the, if it hasn't reloaded or they
It's a
didn't
funny
push it
thing, guys,
yet.
we talk about here at Gala, but there's no employee discount and there's no free
No,
there's no freebies.
no freebies, no
There's no
freebies.
freebies, there's no employee discount. So cool things come out and there's a grab here just like there is out there for cool stuff. So
Yeah,
it's fun.
we want it. No, it's not in the Mirandus store either. Okay, have to bug Travis and see where it shows up. Okay, guys. Well, I think that we need to start wrapping up here. We will definitely do this. We need to do this a little bit more often, McCarthy. What do you say? Do you think we
Yeah.
can do one
I
of
think
these every few weeks? I'm
yeah,
thinking.
for sure. I mean, like monthly is 100%, and I think we should do them more often if we have a cool update or there's just a lot of questions in the community about something or another. We can just pop on and do a quick one and answer some questions.
Awesome. Okay,
Let
guys.
me ask you a question, actually. Let me throw a
Yeah,
question to you, Brink.
sure.
I'd like more of the team to be doing these as well. I think speak to
Oh, I would love that, man. I would love to have like get Craig and Lucas and whatnot on here to do another AMA.
yeah, just kind of talk through some of the challenges and show some of the stuff they're working
I've
on. How
I've
they're thinking.
loved the conversations I've had with them about the characters and
Yeah,
the skeletons and the frames and all of that and how that works.
I think
Um,
it's really cool. I think it's wonderful, fun stuff. I think. I mean, I love working
I
with those.
agree.
They're brilliant, and I think Esteban too. I think it'd be really neat. So some of these AMAs might be like, oh, this is very engineering oriented, guys, or some of them might be this is
Yeah.
very game art oriented. But I'd love to get the guys out there a little bit more and the girls on the team and let them kind of speak to what it is they're thinking
Yeah,
about.
we can probably definitely get Jesse on here at some point in time too. But
Oh, Jesse.
Jesse, yeah, everyone wants to hear from Jesse. Okay, so I will Frodo says one last question, and since I will Frodo said it was the last question, we're gonna make it the last question.
Okay.
Wants to know what are the outer bounds of the world?
You mean total like kilometer size?
No, 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 no. Like, well, okay, you can answer that if you feel like it, but I think the actual question is what happens when you reach the end of the map? Is there an impenetrable mountain barrier? Is it just water forever? Is there an Easter egg where you can sail on and on and on and then discover, the is it a flat earth? Can you fall off of the edge? Do we see the
No,
great Altuin?
I don't think it's going to be flat. Um, so I mean, some of the so first off, like how big in kilometer size will the world be? Like we still have to determine that. We have to build the world map itself, and also have an eye on zones. Some games let you walk infinitely from left to right without any load time. Some games have zones. We like the idea of zones. I don't think it hurts the game too much, and it kind of helps you say, "Hey, I'm over in this area." It's kind of an easy way to communicate with your friends. But how big can that zone be is really going to depend on how complex the simulation gets. And is it going to be a server per zone? Is a server going to cover multiple zones? Do we spin up more servers if a zone gets heavy? So we kind of have to lock what that'll be, but it each zone should be large enough that you feel like I'm in a thing and you're not constantly like, oh, new load, oh, new load. They should load quick and you should feel like you're definitely in an area. As far as where the end of the world is, we absolutely love, I mean, I would say I love the idea that there are absolutely oceans and cool stuff to discover. I don't think it's impossible that you guys might start seeing ports and piers and boats in the foreseeable future. We really want that. We feel it's technically feasible, and there's just something so amazing about setting out on the open sea, or maybe having a map to a lost island and no one else can get there but you. Um, Things that are not fun is having an actual ocean. Like I'm in a boat, I head to the left. An hour later, I don't remember how to get back. I'm stuck and I drown and die. Like that's not super fun. So the boundaries of the world will generally be encompassed by content that we have generated that we feel is exciting for you guys. Um, you know, we wouldn't just make an ocean that's a 3,000 miles this way where there's nothing in it. That's not very fun. If you can walk around it or boat around it, there'll be something out there to think about or discover.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Mr. McCarthy. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to everybody here. And on behalf of the entire community, keep up the good work. I think that. Wait, Captain Jack wants to find me and kill me? Come on, man. Aw.
That's not the
Uh,
spirit of what we're trying to do here at all.
And so anyway, you guys rock. Yeah, I don't even know how to deal with some of these things sometimes. Anyway, you guys rock. Thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and play the outro, and we'll catch up with all of you very soon. So, peace.
Outro music? Is it? That'd be cool.
Okay, don't say anything yet. Don't say anything.